When has beating yourself up after the fact helped anything? Recently, I've been working on practicing non-judgementality. That is to say, trying my best not to attach value judgments to things in everyday life, because value is something that only exists in the minds of humans. We as humans have assigned good and bad to many different things. To pleasure, to pain, to sugar, to the humble vegetable. All of these claims entirely subjective. One of my favorite kinds of stories is wherein the threat isn't to all of humanity as a whole, but to normalcy, to civilization, to humanity as it is, with the characters having an investment in it. I think that's more compelling to me. Humans are like roaches. They will live through so much. But what you can threaten is their day-to-day, the way they live their lives, and how you could make that bad for them suddenly. Storytelling tangent aside, the reason I bring up the fact that a way of life can be challenged and changed and otherwise refuted is because while we hold many large absolute truths, our affinity and love for life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness if you're American, or a sort of collective social good that everyone contributes to when we talk about some more collectivist Eastern countries. We have these lofty ideals, but we need to be careful about applying that level of drama, that level of weight to our everyday experiences. We are quick to make assumptions. We are quick to believe things that do not exist, or things that we have entirely fabricated in our mind. How someone might feel about us, how something that we're doing is working well or not, based on accrued stimuli. Even about ourselves, we're quick to make value judgments on ourselves and what of us is a thing that is attached to our very character, our very personhood, and whether that's good or bad. But I feel like rarely enough do we take a step back and look at things rationally, and not rationalizingly, but rationally. I want to say this right now, it's an equal issue to overinvest yourself in an emotional state as it is to walk backwards from a conclusion and walk and speak as though you've gotten to your state rationally. That you can, through pure logic, get yourself to what at the end is an emotional response, or justifying our emotions through rationality and making them more legitimate that way. When I talk about non-judgmentality, I'm talking about decoupling how we feel about certain things and trying to look at the thing for what it is. The humble slug. Is the slug slimy or moist? And for some of you, both of those are a nightmare. Moisturized. Is the slug moisturized? We have preconceptions on what is pleasant and what is unpleasant, what is good and what is not good. And think of how many words, in and of themselves, just mean bad, or we've attached bad so much to it that it's become an intrinsic part of the word. I was having a conversation on ruthlessness as a word, following the release of the Thunder Saga from Epic the Musical. And something that came up was that we have a hard time reconciling the fact that ruthlessness can be necessary because we've attached ruthlessness as a craven, cruel kind of mindset. We think of it implicitly as the capacity to do harm or not to feel bad about doing harm. By the Oxford Dictionary, ruthlessness is simply the quality of lacking pity or compassion for another person. And that is only a bad thing because we so prize compassion so much in our society, because we find it an inexorable good. You can never have too much compassion. Except you can. Compassion is just a thing you feel for people. The need to assist or help. Cribbing from the dictionary again, it's a sympathetic pity and concern for the suffering and misfortune of other people. And compassion is a good thing. Or at least, we assign it good often. But it's possible to be compassionate at the expense of oneself. To be so sympathetic, so concerned in others that you either don't deal with your own problems, or you let yourself be stepped on by other people. And to that, ruthlessness, the lack of compassion, becomes an ideal. The lack of concern for them when you're minding yours and your own. There are a lot of words, a lot of things that we've got that we just assume to be one way or another, but I think it's definitely worth investigating, interrogating. We don't do much of that for ourselves. When we get comfortable We don't move. But if you want to be more comfortable, or if you want things to change, it's worth knowing why you are, or what you want to do instead. Maybe keep track of what you believe is good, not a societal good. Not what everyone tells you what good is, but what do you find personally good in yourself, in your surroundings? What compels you? What are things that you're particularly averse to? What are icks that you've got that other people might not have? Making a list of those, interrogate them again. Do I think this thing is good? Do I think hard work is good? In and of itself, intrinsically, because I value the sensation in my body afterwards of exerting effort? Do I think hard work is good because I am results oriented and the quickest way to a good result is hard work? Do I think hard work is good because laziness is bad? Because not affecting, not moving is bad. And why is laziness bad? Why is someone reclining and enjoying themselves, perhaps even explicitly as a sign of resistance, not working, as protest to a terrible thing? We've attached badness to laziness, but these things exist separate from those value judgments. I don't know, it's worth a look. It's what my guidance counselor and I were working on recently. Ding, 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 10 minutes.